Our NFL draft focus continues today with a pair of safeties, and I am going to request that we start with this gentleman right here because it gives me an opportunity to throw to cut number 3 and bring the whole thing together.
Take it to Pena. Haller, sideline. Oh, it's picked! Dillon Thieneman calls game. That's a walk-off, whiteout winner for the Ducks.
So we're going to go over Emmanuel McNeil-Warren as well. But Dillon Thieneman, if we could start there, I would love that.
That sounds great. This guy is a late 1, upper 2 area.
Okay.
So if you were to take, let's say we took Sonny Styles, who might be one of the most athletic dudes out there at 12. You know, maybe he falls there. I've seen him go lower. I've seen him go higher. Let's say he's available. You get him. Well, Kevin, that means Caleb Downs was gone.
Yeah.
Caleb Downs is somebody asked this morning, they were like, hey, if you had the choice between him and the guy we talked about yesterday, Mansour Delane. They said, if you had the choice between him, who would you take? And I was like, Downs easily.
Yeah.
And because, Alec, I hope you agree on this, he is the best individual player in the middle of the field. Where Delane would be a great outside guy that shuts down half the field for you. All the action now is taking the majority of the action is taking place in the middle of the field. You need to secure that area and your nickel, which I think Downs would move into that role very well. He can also drop deep into coverage, but I think he plays close to the line and around there and in coverage very, very well.
100% agree, and I've been trying to talk myself into believing that Downs is probably the second best player in this draft. I've been trying to do that. That's how highly I think of his IQ.
Who do you have first?
Mendoza.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think his character won me over.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Shucksness of it all.
But
I love it.
You got to watch the Caleb Presley interview he did.
So good.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of cussing in there.
So good.
Pretty funny. He likes 12 personnel.
Yeah, look that part up, kids.
The first thing I wrote on Thieneman's notes was closing speed. This dude, when it comes to I've reacted, it's time to go. His closing speed is a lot faster than I expected him.
Okay.
And that's he is a dude that you can put out in center field. He plays ball hawk. Turnovers, interceptions. He has great ball skills. Like it comes to, he's already decided what the play is going to be, and he's already merging into the lane to say, this ball is about to be mine. And there are opportunistic moments, but because of the way that he plays, the way that he sees the game, the way that he studies the game, he jumps things beforehand. Now, sometimes that can be a detriment. Sometimes that can be a problem because he sees something and maybe a play action will get him. But this dude's always in the right position. And I always say this, Bill Parcells used to say this about Dan Campbell. The fumbles just fell into his lap. Sometimes you just want players that the ball just does that because they're just around. They know where to be. So he is a ball hawk that you can put in center field, but he's also physical, can step up and stop the run. He is just an absolute playmaker. His coverage might be the best of all the safeties. And that includes Downs, too. Whenever I watch him, he sticks, he's fast, he's got the speed to catch up and go chase down. His speed and size combined. And then on this note right here, he logged 1,100 snaps at free safety, 700 in the box, and then a bunch of snaps in the nickel as well.
Wow.
He is that guy, Kevin. This is the kind of guy that I'm looking for. That he can do all the different things. I'm not saying he's going to be Darren Woodson, but he can do all those things where he's physical, plays with intensity at the line, and the intensity isn't fake. This is just how he plays. He's physical at the line of scrimmage, gets up into the run game, but also plays coverage so well. So he is the guy that you can just say, go do it, and he's going to go out there and do that for you.
Okay, so I
like his 6'5", 205 frame.
And so you said potential later first, early second.
Yeah.
All right.
This would be a great trade down scenario at 20. in my mind, because if he's still if you can guarantee he's going to be in that area.
Let me ask you another question, and I hope this does not derail the point counterpoint that we normally do in here.
Okay.
But I've been thinking about this a lot because a lot of the players it feels like you guys have brought up are potential to maybe be later first round, earlier second round. I would love to do something with pick 20, but if you realistically look at the values of the things, let's say Caleb Downs is long gone, would you have any consideration for moving off of pick 12? Because theoretically, pick 12, and I used a real team to go after, would get you 28 and 38. From the Texans. And the reason why I wanted to use a real team is I don't want to just make up some scenario. And so the reason why I ask is because that would potentially give you the extra player like this, whether you think you pick them up at 28 or 38. But I realize for a lot of people, trading off pick 12 might be a non-starter.
Well, for me, Alec, trading off pick 12, I think I can get a legitimate player at 12 still, no matter what. Like I think there's
says Styles, Falk, whoever,
no matter what, I'm going to get a player that I'm happy with.
Okay,
that's what keeps me from trading away from 12. Again, how my board's stacked. If I'm at that point and we're at 12 and all the guys that I wanted are gone, then I would probably consider this a little bit. But I think I'm going to get a legitimate NFL player at number 12.
I have a very hard time moving off of 12.
Okay.
I do. But in the case of Thieneman, like we're talking about right now, I have a day 2 grade on him just after watching a couple games. I'd say he's a day 2 guy. If we get wiped out leading into 12, those first 11 picks, and you say that I can get a second round pick by moving back, then I'm saying, yeah, I could probably get some serviceable players to play in my secondary specifically. I think that's where some of the best value secondary-wise is going to be day 2 in this draft.
And I feel like, unfortunately, I know I will ask you these hypotheticals just to kind of gauge it, but I know realistically you're like, well, that depends on how the draft goes, because if you made that deal and Downs is sitting there at 12, you're like, son of a bee.
Yeah, like if we're in the top 5, we can give you a lot different answers.
Fair.
You know, like here's the 5 guys, but we have 12, but that's the thing. Going to the Cowboys pick, you have good players lined up all the way there,
and I just wanted
which is really good that they lost that last game this year and then the Packers situation, because Cowboys are in the right position.
Like, obviously, I agree with that, but I'm trying to set people's expectations for the cost of the draft. So, like, for example, for the 4-6-9, do y'all think we could swap picks around the 6th or 7th pick and throw in a later round pick to get Caleb Downs for sure? Okay, so can I just give you an example of the cost of business? If you want to move up from 12 to 7, you would probably have to give up next year's second round pick.
What about to 10?
To 10, it just depends on how motivated that team is. But if you traded away your 4th round pick, theoretically, that would get it done. But now consider this. You pick at 10, you pick at 20, and then you pick again in the 5th round.
Right.
And so I just kind of wanted to set people's expectations, as I know we would love to trade 20 for 28 and 38. Hell yeah, I would be interested in that. But the more realistic price of business is 12 for 28 and 38. Unless, of course, what you really want to hope happen is Houston has that player that's fallen to your spot, or whoever has that player that's fallen to your spot, and they're really motivated to move, because then you can kind of throw the chart out the window.
Well, and I don't know, Kevin, the future for the Cowboys, like their 2027 draft. I need to go look at that and how valuable some of those trade pieces might be too, because if you're really looking at this draft, I think there's a lot of talent in this draft, Alec. So far, I've seen a pretty deep group that I like. If you're feeling comfortable with that and saying next year we'll worry about next year, then you go ahead and trade, try and make a swap with that.
And clearly I have been pushing that agenda on the salary cap front.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know what, Alec, I guess I would not abandon that for the draft picks either.
Your thoughts on Thieneman, though, as far as I go, speed, intensity, and smarts. I really like the guy.
Yeah, and keep in mind when I say day 2 grade, just in my mind, that there's maybe only 14 to 17 players in each first round that actually have first-round grades.
He's going to be the 20th best player in the draft.
Exactly. So he still could go in the first round. It's just, I think position value is also going to hurt him too, being a safety.
Yep.
He could go early day 2. But
it's a position of need for the Cowboys, though, and I
Yes.
think that's what we both see there.
Exactly. So he excites me more than he might excite other fan bases just because I know how much he could help this team immediately. If you like consistency, this is your guy. He played for 3 years, 306 tackles and 8 interceptions in 3 seasons. So he's got a lot of numbers to back it up. The size and athleticism that you mentioned, Corey, he can play any safety. If you want him to do what Malik Hooker does right now, sure. If you want him to do what Jaron Kearse did really well here in Dallas, sure. He will play whatever you ask him to do. I think he's awesome in that respect. The number one thing that I highlighted with him, never takes his eyes out of the backfield. Ever.
Ooh.
He is always watching the quarterback. And that can bite him sometimes whenever the play gets into scramble mode and receivers are just in that screw it, get open mode. He might lose track of a receiver, but it's more of a pro than anything because he is always reading the eyes of the quarterback and reading the progressions. And another downfall, maybe he'll bite on a play action or two because of that. But that's going to happen. NFL players do it all the time. But I just love how he's always hyper-focused on the quarterback. I think for a guy that's a product of playing and starting for 3 seasons in college, is he has that mentality of the quarterback is my only concern, not the theatrics that are happening in front of me.
I don't know exactly where you are with this because for this Cowboys defense, Malik Hooker's here. So I'm not sure where Malik Hooker fits right now. Is he a little older and maybe we move him a little closer to the line? Would you feel comfortable putting him out and this kid out in center field and saying you just run out there, knowing that the future you might bring him down a little bit more? Or do you feel like it's a little more interchangeable with that pair?
I think it's kind of interchangeable, but I wouldn't mind telling Thieneman, hey, you're going to be the single high, over-the-top center fielder kind of guy because he is rangy. You know, he's not going to blow you away at the combine with his 40 or anything, but his reaction time makes up for anything else that other safeties might be faster than him, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's going to read and react quicker than most.
And keep in mind, in about an hour, I'm going to convince y'all to get rid of Malik Hooker.
Why? We need a safety, Kevin.
That's your tease.
We have to go buy another safety now?
Well, that's why y'all are doing this segment, to replenish.
Yeah, because
Touché.
If we take the
y'all are here to bring in talent. I'm here to get rid of it.
if we take the model right now and look at the needs on the defensive side of the ball, it is linebacker next to Overshown, an edge piece, a cornerback, and a safety. Like you need those 4 pieces. You just got to decide and figure out which ones you like the most in which area. Somebody said, Corey, my mock with trades, what do you think? 1 is at 28 for Colton Hood. Oh, man, there's a lot more to it.
Okay.
Colton Hood at 28 would be nice.
Yes.
So you did do some trades. You could make something like that happen. I'd absolutely
went off that
take
Houston
that.
trade, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that like when it comes to this kid, Kevin, this is the one that I'm most excited about. Caleb Downs is the safety that he's the unicorn. All right,
Maybe unachievable.
Yeah, this one right here, you probably could get, and you might be able to make a move to negotiate something to get you an extra pick to be able to do it if you're backing up a little bit. And he provides the, I think the word I saw was chameleon-like ability to be anywhere on the field, and I'm okay with that. The other guy, though, we only have a couple minutes to talk about him. That is going to be Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, out of Toledo, senior. He is 6'2", 202, big kid. Slender frame, but also has the... Alec, when you watched him, did you feel like he was trying to tackle through everybody when he speared them in their hips? Because it just seemed like Goldberg's spear is what he grew up wanting to do his entire life. When he hits somebody, he doesn't hit them to put them down. He hits them to go through them. Yeah. However, there are times that he will go for the ball, which he's really good at. He's really good at knocking the ball out. I think it was 9 forced fumbles. He's really good at that. But I saw him a couple times where people were running at him, and he stepped to the side and punched the ball out instead of tackling. And I don't know how well that's going to happen. But this dude right here, absolutely physical, really long and athletic, punches at the ball. Sometimes I don't love his tackling form, but he's a unique player with a lot of middle-of-the-field playmaking potential.
What I wrote for him in terms of his tackling and downhill ability is, like we like to say in baseball terms, he's a strike thrower.
Okay.
He's going to go for the heart of the plate every single time. He's going to go, like Corey said, and spear every time. And the peanut punch, if you're a fan of that, how about 9 career forced fumbles with that peanut punch maneuver?
Wow.
He's very good at it. He might do it a little bit too much, but that's what the league is doing now anyways, so he fits in perfectly in that regard. But I like how slippery he is whenever he's coming down to stop the run. He can shed off blocks pretty well. He does need to settle his feet a little bit more whenever he's going for those tackles in the open field. He will have some bad open field misses because he is coming downhill so quick. He doesn't really settle his feet. He'll just launch. So you might get some people that kind of slip away from him. I don't think he's as versatile of a safety. You're going to play him in one primary safety position, which is fine. But, yeah, fix the footwork and some of the tackling for him, and I think you've got yourself a pretty solid starting safety.
But he is your secondary selection.
Yeah, he would be my third.
Okay.
My third one. And
I just meant of the two of the day.
Out of the safeties that we've discussed, he would be the third one for me so far, and I would probably take a couple cornerbacks before him also. So I like the player. I like the potential. I just feel like what I'm hearing right now is the Cowboys are very focused on the Power 5 and players that have played in that kind of, at that level, at that height, ready to go.
I just keep thinking about, like, if you made that trade 28-38, take 2 safeties, how I know we have one fan that would be the greatest day of his life, but how the rest of the fan base would react in this scenario.
Oh, yeah.
We're the K&C Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan.